And of course, we have to go back to South Carolina because a lot of things are happening. Now, if we don't remember, or if you didn't watch it, yesterday's show, we talked about a South Carolina convenience store owner, or former convenience store owner, who was found not guilty after he was proven to have killed a 14-year-old black kid who was running away. Now, a lot of protests have been coming out about this. A lot of people are saying that he should have been charged with manslaughter and he would have been convicted, but he was charged with murder instead.
That not guilty verdict drawing strong reactions all across the region. Hours after the jury acquitted Chow of murder, dozens gathering outside the Columbia gas station he once owned, where that incident started. Our Kiana Jordan was there early this morning when people started rallying.
Anger, grief, and frustration, emotions spilling onto the sidewalk outside the Park Lane Road gas station where Cyrus Carmack Belton was shot to death 3 years ago. Hours after a jury found Rick Chow not guilty, protesters gathering there early Tuesday morning.
And a lot of sorrow, man. That young man had a gun on him, yes, sure, but he not only was he right because he didn't steal the water, he still walked away knowing that he had something that could have protected himself. For him to have the sense to still walk away, that man would have been bright, you know what I'm saying? That man would have been something special about that man, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like something was taken from us as a community.
Some of the protesters say the verdict hits close to home. Genesis Fulmore came out as a mother to pay her respect and protest the verdict.
This baby died. He lost his life. And the verdict itself, hearing that mother cry as a mother with 3 children, it pierced my soul. I am disgusted.
More than 20 Richland County Sheriff's deputy patrol cars, vans, and trucks line the property, which is no longer owned by Rick Chow. Some protesters frustrated by their presence.
And that rub me the wrong way as I come out here and I see a lot of people that look like me. A lot of people, way too much. I feel like that ain't, what side are you on?
I don't understand why there are so many Richland County police deputies out here.
Another man says he came as a father holding a bottle of water up to cars passing by as a symbol of the hate he says black children receive.
It goes to show that a bottle of water, our kids' lives, our lives are not worth a bottle of water.
I think the prosecution failed us because they should have added on the lesser charge, and manslaughter should have also been on the table.
100%. So I'm not going to stop it too much, but that is where my biggest misgivings or anger is coming from, is that the prosecution truly failed us. Now I will say, the fact that he was a 14-year-old who had a gun in the first place, that needs to be discussed. We cannot just leave that out the way. But at the end of the day, it was 2 people who were there that was the only witnesses, and all they had to say was basically that I feared for my life, or he was trying to protect his son. And it's hard to get a murder conviction, especially when there's not 100%, because they have to be 100%. That's why they kept asking for the definition of what constitutes murder. Because if there's any reasonable doubt, they're not supposed to go with that guilty verdict. And the simple fact that they couldn't go with manslaughter, which would have been an easy win for the prosecution, at least in my understanding, they failed. They truly failed. And now this young kid does not get justice. Because what we know for a fact is that he went into the store. It was proven that he was lied about getting the bottled water stolen. They chased him out, chased him down. For some reason, they was already armed. When he fell, the gun fell out. When he fell, the gun fell out of his pocket. And when he was shot in the back, the bullet trajectory proved that he was leaning, running forward. Like, not that he was turning around. But for some reason, that wasn't enough. But manslaughter should have been on there. But let's keep going into this.
Robinson with the Racial Justice Network says this protest will not be the only protest and that the organization is planning an economic boycott coming up. Now, the Shell gas station here on Park Lane Road is now owned by a James 20 LLC, according to the Richland County Public Records. In Richland County, I'm Kiana Jordan. Watch Fox News, local first.
But let's get over into hearing about how the leaders and the attorney feels about this. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's very long, but there's certain parts that I want to get into. So let's get over into that.
Our lives have value. We deserve justice. We deserve dignity. Black lives matter. As I said, I am here to tell you, we are done dying. Thank you.
Let us now hear from Attorney Todd Rutherford. Let's give him a hand clap of encouragement.
Thank you, Reverend Rivers, and I clearly don't deserve that because I stand here today at a loss for words of how something like this can happen in a county that I've lived in my entire life. As a 30-year veteran of the criminal justice system, I've never seen anything like it. I stand here with Cyrus's mother to my right, whom I told over the years, it's going to be okay. This can't happen. No, he cannot get away with chasing a child 130 yards and shooting him in the back. No, ma'am, it's not going to happen. He cannot get away with it. And I guess in my calculus, I forgot to include the fact that he was a black child. The diminution of value of black life has got to stop. And it doesn't matter at whose hands. It started off at Mr. Chow's hands and it ended with that jury's hands. But it doesn't matter. Our children have value. Our children have worth. Your child had worth.
Now, see, because now remember, this was, well, I don't know if y'all know, but it was a mixed jury. There was black and white people or colored people and non-colored people on the jury. And the main thing is that we have to remember is that he admitted in court that he never saw the gun. He only shot in order to protect his own son. That's what the prosecution went with. Or no, that's what the defense attorneys went with. And now the jury has to prove or understand and prove without a reasonable doubt, that he did not do that and he shot and murdered him. We'll look at the definition of murder later, but it's hard to prove that he wasn't truly fearing for his son's life. When he admitted he didn't see the gun and he shot because his son yelled, he has a gun, so he shot. Now, do I think he should have been charged and should be in jail? 100%. But I don't want to say that it's because he was a black kid. At least that's not what I'm feeling. But let me know your thoughts. Let's keep going into this.
Stand here today because we have got to impose even those values on ourselves. That our children are not thugs. That our children, even in trying to protect themselves, end up in situations where they get a bullet in their back and a jury says that that is okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not. Not okay. It is not. We cannot believe for one more second that our children, because of the color of their skin, are worth less than those that don't look like us. I challenge those who say, well, that's what the jury said. There were blacks on the jury. There was a black prosecutor. And so it is what it is. I challenge you to show me in this country where that has happened and the assailants look like us and the victim did not. That's right. That's right. I get.
My immediate thoughts come to O.J. Simpson, but I might be mistaken. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Frequent phone calls about, well, the prosecution, they should have asked for voluntary manslaughter.
100%.
Well, what they don't realize, even in asking that question, you're suggesting to me that a 14-year-old with a bullet in his back, his value cannot reach the level of murder? They should have started off with less than murder? No more. No.
Yes. I hate to say it, but yes, they should have. It's as simple as that. And we got to remember the fact that no matter what reason, the 14-year-old had a gun. If he did not have a gun and this situation happened, he would be in jail at this whole time. At least that's my thinking. But let's keep going into this.
This was nothing less than a bullet in the back and murder, no different than it would have been on a white store owner being chased by black children, on a Chinese kid running out of a store being chased by two black kids. This was exactly what the prosecution said it was, and I'm sorry that the jury didn't agree, but the jury was wrong. And while we have to respect what the jury said because we don't have a choice, they were wrong. And those that looked at it and said, well, how is there malice? Because he was shot in the back after running for his life. And if you listen to the witnesses, they said when he came out of the store, he had nothing but fear in his eyes. And he was running so fast, he lost his shoe. And he kept on running. And what did Mrs. Chow do? She went and got the shoe. They said, well, he had no money when he found him. Do you think that people would pick up somebody else's shoe, wouldn't pick up the cash? Have you not heard of Cash App? Did he need cash in his pocket in order to pay for the water bottles that he did not steal, that he didn't pick up, that he didn't leave the store with? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple case of someone armed, running with their adult son as they chased a 14-year-old child over a football field's length and shot him in the back. This was what the family saw, what the community saw, what the whole world now sees. This was a murder, and it is gone without the ability to hold someone accountable.
Now, I 100% agree that it was a murder. I think it was murder because I do not believe that the 14-year-old child was trying to shoot at him. But you have to get a jury to believe that without a reasonable doubt. Now, that is what's supposed to happen. But I truly believe that if there was even a possibility that they could have gotten a not guilty verdict, I think they should have had that lesser charge in there. Or at least start with the lesser charge. I don't know how they were supposed to do it, but manslaughter should have been on the table. At least that's my thinking. But let's keep going up and finish this up.
I'm going to try my best to hold him accountable on the civil level. We have filed a lawsuit. We plan on following suit with that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we know that a civil suit is coming. We're not surprised about that. But let's get over into the AI breakdown just to wrap this whole section up. So as we know, protest has erupted throughout Columbia, South Carolina following the June 1st acquittal of the store owner Rick Chow for the 2023 murder of the 14-year-old Cypress. Demonstrations has gathered to voice their deep anger over the verdict and regretting and reigniting local civil rights movements that began when the teenager was shot in the back after falsely accused of shoplifting. Okay. Makes sense. I mean, I understand. He definitely was falsely accused. We have proven evidence that he was falsely accused of shoplifting. So we got dozens of communities going around with water bottles saying that his life was not worth more than a water bottle. We got scheduled memorials in June, or was that today? So Rick Chow wrongly suspected of shoplifting water bottles despite the team putting the items back. Chow and his son pursued him over 130 yards off the property, where Chow fired a fatal shot in the boy's back. Prosecution argued that he acted unnecessarily aggressive over the uncommitted minor offense. The defense successfully argued self-defense under state law, asserting that the teenager possessed a firearm and pointed it at Chow's son during the chase, a claim disputed by prosecutors and independent witnesses. So they disputed because witnesses said that they did not see a gun in his hand when he was running. My thinking is when he fell, because it's proven that he did fall, the gun fell out of his pocket. Now we still got to remember, why does a 14-year-old have a gun in the first place? That's another problem we got to talk about. But I did want to get into, was there actually any evidence that the 14-year-old actually pointed the gun at him, or did he not? So there's conflicting evidence on these specific details. So we got testimony from the son, Andy Chow, took that the witness stand and testified directly that he pointed a 9mm handgun directly at him during the chase, causing him to believe that he was about to shoot. So the defense played audio from Andy Cook's 911 call and police body cam footage recorded minutes after the shooting. In those recordings, Andy consistently told dispatchers and deputies that he pulled a gun, which the defense used to argue the threat wasn't fabricated later. Law enforcement confirmed that investigators recovered a 9mm pistol with a laser attachment near the body at the scene, with a laser on it. Ooh. So, and then we got the evidence that he did not point a gun. So independent eyewitnesses, 4 separate independent bystanders who witnessed the chase, testified under oath that they never saw anything in his hand, nor did they see him point a gun or threaten anyone. One witness stated that the 14-year-old looked visibly terrified as he ran, which is understandable. He's getting chased with 2 guns. Evidence from the police interviews and body cam footage revealed that Rick Chow himself never actually saw him holding the gun before firing. He shot strictly because his son yelled he got a gun. So on cross-examination, prosecution highlighted that while Andy Chow told 911 dispatchers the teen pulled a gun, he did not state during the initial emergency call that the gun was actually pointed at him. And then we got forensic evidence. This is the kicker now. Forensic evidence from the pathologist testified that the fatal bullet entered directly through the teenager's back. The wound path was highly consistent with someone leaning forward while actively fleeing, proving that he was shot behind while not turning around to aim a weapon. Now remember, y'all, that Rick Chow was the one on trial for murder at this point. I definitely spelled that wrong, but they'll know what I'm talking about. So he is on. So murder is the unlawful killing of a human being with malice aforethought. The legal definition requires the government to prove that the defendant killed someone intentionally or with reckless disregard for life without any legal justification or excuse. Now that is what he was on trial for, is murder. And he has testified clearly that he did not see the gun and he only reacted because he feared for his life. That is what I'm thinking that the jury went through and kept, because they spent a while deliberating on this exact thing. Can you truly charge him with murder when he has admitted that he did not see the gun and he only shot in fear for his son's life? Now, do I think he should have been charged with something? 100%. But with the evidence that they have, do you think that they had enough to get him with murder? When he admitted that he did not see the gun already. You already know he's already admitted that. He did not see the gun. Or is it enough that even though the simple fact that he did not see the gun and he shot anyway? But that is a wild situation, y'all. Now, I do think the prosecution dropped the ball on this case simply because I think manslaughter should have been an option. I think they would have won that case 100%. Would it have been what the family truly wanted? 100? No. I can understand that. But in and itself, this case had a lot of problems. The fact is, the 14-year-old should not have been wandering around with a gun. Now, do I think the store owner created this whole problem in the first place? Yes, because he chased him out of the store with armed already for someone who was falsely accused of stealing water. Now, do I think he didn't know at the time he didn't steal water? But in general, you chase someone out of the store with a gun and all over some stolen water. In general, he should have been charged with something. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. This is a crazy topic.